I think now's a good time to look back on the past season. It's been a few weeks since FIM's 5th season ended, so let's take a moment to look back on what we got. I'll be focusing more on the second half of Season 5 since I already covered my thoughts on the first half during the mid-season hiatus. When Season 5 came back, it returned on a really strong note. 3 consecutive episodes where Rarity is one of the central roles? Consider me sold. The second half was definitely more consistent than the first, and it just kept hitting us with good episode after good episode. Since I've been traveling lately, I might as well compare this to a plane ride. The first few weeks of Season 5.5 was like flying in first class, and the only complaint you can make is that the soda was a little on the flat side. You got a ton of leg room, the in-flight movie is awesome, and best of all, you got heated seats. The season did start to get a little iffy as we came into the home stretch though. We had Crusaders of the Lost Mark, but then we had the one where Pinkie Pie knows. We had Hearthbreakers and Scaremaster, and then we had What About Discord and the Hooffields and the McColts. Still, the main attraction was a nice return to form followed by an okay finale to make for a smooth landing. And I'd still say that overall, the second half of Season 5 definitely outdoes the first one. And there are even some episodes of the first half that I don't really like as much, partly because of how much better the second half is done. There were quite a few highlights this season as well, the 3 big ones being the 100th episode, the quality of which was debatable, the CMC getting their cutie marks, and Starlight Glimmer's redemption. Yeah, that's kind of the elephant in the room right now. I would talk about this, but I have a lot to say about not just this redemption, but MLP redemptions in general, and those thoughts need their own video. Besides, there are other things about this season that I think are worth mentioning. Firstly, the different locations we get to visit, both old and new. I'm glad that a lot of this season's episodes went beyond Ponyville, even episodes that didn't involve the map. Rarity's expanding her business, we're learning more about the main 6's families, and we even got to see the cultures of other species. It's this type of exploration that makes the world of MLP feel more defined, which is great because it's making use of the massive potential that the world has and giving us a clearer picture of said world. And since the map doesn't seem to have been retired, this could mean that we could get more map episodes in Season 6. Another good thing about this season that kinda came out of left field was the improvement of Fluttershy's characterization. A common and somewhat valid complaint about Fluttershy was that when she learns a lesson in an episode, no matter how good the episode may be, the show tends to push the reset button and start right where they left off. But now the lessons are sticking and you can tell that she's changed. As I said before though, this season wasn't perfect. While we got some great episodes and some great stories, they're almost evened out by the bad episodes. When S5 hits, it hits hard, and there are some so-so episodes in the mix as well, but there are some misses too, some of which make you wonder if they shot with their eyes closed. Oh, and Pinkie Pie. I brought her up in the last wrap-up, so I guess I gotta talk about her again now. In the mid-season wrap-up video, I said that for once, Pinkie Pie wasn't annoying, and Party Poot was the first Pinkie episode that I actually liked, and I started to think that she'd grow on me. And then the one where Pinkie Pie knows took that thought and tore it into pieces, so we're back to square one. Great. Now, way back in January, I made a list of the top 5 things I'd like to see in Season 5. So let's revisit that list and see how many of those wishes came true. Number 5 was Queen Chrysalis's return. While it didn't happen in the way I expected it to, it's still a return, so that gets a check. Number 4 on the list was a Celestia episode, which we, unfortunately, did not get. And with how the season finale inadvertently tarnished her image, I think we need a Celestia episode now more than ever. We need something that shows more of her and puts her in a better light. While we're at it, give Cadence an episode too. I mean, can we have an episode where she does something other than get knocked up? I kind of feel like she's been backed into a corner character-wise with this whole baby thing, because from now until the baby is born, it's a safe bet that any episode where she's the focus will most likely revolve around her eventual motherhood, since that's the most obvious thing to go for. And while that's all well and good, I feel that she can be more than just that. Is putting a baby in her what we have to do to make her character relevant? Anyways, I digress. Number 3 was the CMC getting their cutie marks. Check. Number 2, Luna gets a solo song. No check, but there's always next season. I'm actually starting to wonder why I had that so high on the list to begin with. Finally, number 1 was a new Best Applejack episode, and the jury is still out on this one. Still not sure if the main attraction beats Applebuck season for me. When I compare season 5 to the other seasons of MLP, I would put it above seasons 3 and 1, but below seasons 4 and 2. Something about them odd-numbered seasons, man. While each half had consistent starts, they also had somewhat shaky endings, but it still made for an enjoyable season and it's got me looking forward to season 6. Now, what do I think were season 5's best and worst episodes? You'll have to find that out in January. And yes, there are other parts of season 5 that I left out of this video, but I decided to pick the ones that I thought stood out to me the most. So feel free to let me know what you thought were the standouts in the comments below. So what did you think of season 5? Let me know in the comments or hit me up on social media. And consider supporting me on Patreon or commissioning me for art via PayPal. Until next time, keep it sketchy, folks.